Well, I was having pretty good success. I was selling out every big hall in Detroit, in Pittsburgh, in Philadelphia, and Dallas, and Chicago, and city after city, doing two nights at I forget the name of the hall in Chicago, and all, and we're doing an average of 6,000 to 10,000 people on every weekend, and that was just because of my strength of my album sales and performances. And so I really was a very leery of the pop single market, because I knew once you redefined yourself that way, you'd have to keep following it up, and then everything would follow up. You play bigger halls, and then you'd have to have bigger show, more lights, more expenses, and then you got to keep making those kind of songs. And I was really enjoying the experimental stuff. Pauper in Paradise had a full-length symphony that I wrote, that recorded with the Royal Philharmonic, and I liked doing that. But somehow my brothers convinced me to do more of a pop record with Brother to Brother. And Ross had a song hanging around called I Just Want to Stop. And so we experimented with it in the studio, and lo and behold, it became what it became. And it was very big, and the album was quite big. And so there it was, but the pressure was on to follow it up. And I sort of followed up with Living Inside Myself, which was a top 5 hit, and gold album with Living Inside Myself with Nightwalker. But I grew very, very tired of that immediately, because I found it extraordinarily limiting, because what it said to the audience is, unless I have this, I'm not worthy. And so what happens, Michael, is that you get that big success, and then everyone tells you, well, why don't you go buy a big house? Why don't you buy 10 big cars? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Take these people out. Okay, let's support this family. Let's do it. All of a sudden you have a monthly net of 200,000 a month, and so now you have to be there all the time. And so the old you that loved to sit down at the computer or at your instrument and play and read a book for hours and hours, you no longer have time for that, because everybody's telling you, we need another hit, or else we can't pay you as much, and we can't. And then your accountant tells you, well, you need to make so much money, because if you don't make that kind of money, you can't live the way you're living. So there's a sort of, you become a satellite of your own making.
Right.
And so by mid 80s, I decided that I didn't want that anymore.